Well, this is quite sad. I think Kia has made an early appointment for the stinger with Dr. Kevorkian. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au, and I get new cars cheap for buyers here in Australia. Website for that, obviously, or you can just click the card that's up there now, dude. Now, we'll get to the stinger thing in a minute. I know some of you are going to ask me, what about the OLIGHT torch giveaway? And frankly, I have just not had sufficient time to wade through the thousands upon thousands of applications, of which I note some were pretty damn clever indeed, and I will let you know about that tomorrow. But I had to see a man about a dog today, and then this came up, and yada, yada, yada. We're all on lockdown. Give me a break. It's COVID. Several of you have been on to me in the manner of an indignant rat up a friggin' downpipe, metaphorically, about the future of the stinger in recent days. And some of you, I note, have already downloaded a copy of Eulogy Maximizer 2000 Pro Plus. And I think you're just getting a bit ahead of yourself, dude. This concern seems to orbit some recent reports suggesting that a kill order for Stinger has been issued by the factory. Reports kind of like that one from the KoreanCarblog.com, which alleges, and I'm paraphrasing here, that demand for Stinger is on the long-term collapse in other markets, or at least trending that way, so maybe they should shut down production a couple of years early and tool up for a big fat bunch of Carnival hybrids instead. Jesus. I must say that there's not a whole lot of solemn requiescat in parce within the ranks of car makers. As soon as a car proves itself not economically viable, it's like straight under the bus, in the manner of something like an ex-wife dealing with the former groom. The Korean Carblog dudes have mooted Q2 next year for Stinger's barbiturate overdose, but frankly I think they're going off a little prematurely. Not that I have any real experience with that, obviously. Just ask Tiffany. But if my increasingly fallible memory is anything to chart a course by today, then where are we? That was close. Kia pretty much always had a hard use-by date of 2024 for the Stinger globally. Like, it's been emotional, but dear Stinger, it's over, and it's not us, it's you. Thanks for your service, now off. So, the key question is, have they brought this date forward? And is Q2 of 22 more or less Stinger's Good Friday, or at least the cue for them to warm up the fat lady? Like the diligent reporter I am, deep down, I went straight to the horse's mouth on this, which is perhaps an unfortunate way to refer to the Senior Executive Director of Corporate Affairs for Kia here in Shitsville, who rebuffed my interrogation with this. The recently updated Stinger will continue to convey the fundo drive character of the Kia brand with more technology and power than ever before. As a company policy, we do not share future production plans this far in advance. Further information will be disclosed in due course. In the meantime, Kia will continue to offer products with the best safety, style and performance. Well, golly gee, Jim Bob. Not her real name. Thank you so much. That's a deleted scene from Yes Minister right there. Like 64 words and nothing whatsoever said. Just the firm possibility of a definite maybe that something might happen, inclusive of nothing. I'll look forward to seeing that or not. And thank you very much for setting me straight. And fundo drive. I've always said that, starting right now. I actually had to look that one up, fundo drive. It's a cultural thing, apparently, like Hapkido, only fun, obviously. Stinger is certainly that, fundo. Not as much fundo, perhaps, as, for example, an edible bikini or just spitballing it for a moment. A spirited jelly wrestle with a feisty Ming mole. Like, it's only money, dude. Like, what are you going to do? Leave it to the kids? Google Translate is, of course, always a variable factor in reports such as this. Stinger's near-death allegation first hit me at the Korean car blog, and there's always an element of ambiguity because they don't exactly kick off in Liz Regina's English, do they? And I'm frankly useless in South Korean. Like, kimchi and soju is the limit of my linguistic prowess, standing just below the 38th parallel in Seoul. But I think you'll find that they are the most important South Korean words of all, if you want to get by in a strange land. Like, you can kansanida all the friggin' live-long day, but it will not open as many doors as big fat dose of soju at exactly the right time. Pro tip. According to dailycar.co.kr, via Google Translate, so bar of soap, grain of salt, whatever, metaphorically, on the 16th of this month, Kia shared its future plans for the Sahari plant where the Stinger is made, and they shared those plans with commercial suppliers because obviously they have to get their hair and makeup in order for this and that in the production planning domain. It doesn't just happen overnight, you know. And one of those filthy, traitorous, supplying bastards has probably blabbed, you know, probably a disgruntled one. It's claimed that the retooling at the Stinger factory next year will include the realignment of lines to prepare for mass production of electrified vehicles such as the Carnival EV, tentative name, in the first half of 2022, and the plan to discontinue production of the Stinger in the second half. Okay, so what we do know is that Stinger sold its twin-turbo double Ds off when it launched way back in 2017. But then those bastards at Genesis launched their G70 and it quickly pulled off rather the successful passing manoeuvre, and it has dominated Stinger since 2018, not unlike a stern German woman in a leather corset globally. Almost 8,000 G70s in 2020 was sold versus just 3,500 Stingers, and if that's not the writing on the wall, I don't know what is. Stinger lobbed here, of course, at exactly the right time, back in 2017, when bogans across the nation were gutted at the demise of the hastily adapted rear-drive V8 American shitboxes built here, Australia. Bathurst, bogans, beer and boobies. What better opiate for the masses is there? The market here was, of course, yet to shift its focus to the pimp's Cadillac of 4x4 utes via ARB and, of course, JobKeeper. And Stinger, with its rear drive and V8-esque mumbo, it easily found a receptive cadre of willing and cashed-up Shitsvillian bogans. It was kind of like Cinderella slipping on the fabled glass Blunston the morning after. Yes. And I have to say, that twin-turbo V6 GT Stinger rocks. I friggin' love driving that car. Fundo, indeed. Like, I am living proof that you can educate a bogan. You can even teach him to sit up and wear pants and punctuate. But that does not stop him being a bogan, okay? That's like fundamental. It's ingrained in the DNA at a molecular level. Like, hey, hey, gone. If you're not from around here, like you're a Kanukistani or something, do not worry about trying to understand that last bit, which I just said in that foreign language. It's kind of an advanced Australian linguistic concept. Boganese, working title. But I really don't think Eurowegia or Trumpistan was ever quite as girl who can't say no as we were, vis-a-vis the Stinger. The embrace there, not so pants optional at all. They're such snobs with their fetish for the three-pronged suppository over on the western edge of the Atlantic. It's upside down because that's how they roll in hell. That's abundantly clear. The suppository is, of course, the official vehicle supplier to Satan and his senior executive management team. down there. And over in the east, like, of the Atlantic, dude, not hell. Try to keep up, Christ. Try telling some redneck that you can have as much fundo in a Stinger as you can in a Mustang. Plus, the Stinger probably won't go poopy in its trousers 10 times in the first 5 years that you own it, which would also be different. So, we Australians find ourselves being a kind of Stingified anomaly down here in Shitsville. It's rather a shame because without Stinger, Kia would still be trying to claw its public perception out of the discount tray in this country. Frankly, they could have sold every Stinger at a loss, right up to and including today, and they would still be massively in front long term. You could not put a GT badge on any frigging Kia in this country without having had Stinger in the lineup. At least, not without being a laughing stock, okay? So I'd suggest that Kia, at least here in Shitsville, owes the Stinger rather a lot in the grand scheme of things. And don't the cops love it here, especially in Queensland? Like, if you were never going to university and you just missed out on playing pro rugby, you'll doubtless be sitting in a Stinger right now at the roadside in your tactical blues, pulling people over on the M1 for this and that, like bikini infringements and things of that nature. Too much material on that one, young lady, I'm going to have to search you, that kind of thing. The term pig in shit doesn't quite cover it. Like, dude, this is what you will do in heaven. Kia's official non-answer on Stinger's future notwithstanding, I think the only real question now for the old girl is exactly when is the date with Dr. Death? And I'd suggest if you're doing some long-range lockdown Stinger acquisition planning, if that planning includes securing a Stinger with a 2023 build date, you're going to be most disappointed on the balance of probability. You can over-delay gratification in the automotive domain, certainly. And that doesn't sound like very much fun-do to me. Oh, no siree, Bob. The chip shortage currently means that Stingers are very hard to get right now, like bordering on friggin' impossible. I just hope the floodgates, and the floodgates, depends if you know her or not, I suppose. They could be floodgoats, couldn't they? Really? Time will tell. I just hope the frigging floodgates reopen before they retool the production line. I really do. Speculating on the rev limiter here, but hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there certainly does seem to be rather a lot of smoke on the demise of Stinger. If your proposed new Stinger GT is not under your frigging Christmas tree for Christmas 2022, I don't know, dude. Perhaps I can interest you in a 340i X drive for 35 grand more.